My son is 4.5 and mainly copies kids when playing with them. He has been in this stage of play for about a good 8 months. Rarely does he initiate play or talk with the other kids, but will copy, or if asked, plays with the kid as best as he can. He has been in ABA for 7 months and it is at a typical preschool. Is this typical at this age, 4.5 years old? What can we do to help him initiate more play and be his own person, so to speak? I know it bothers some kids, so he already has that type of reputation. He does it at home with my neurotypical 2-year-old too. It's almost like it's reinforcing, though, when she gets upset with him, copying her language. Also, how do you know if my son has a cognitive/intellectual delay as well as ASD? Thank you so much for helping me with this concern.
Okay.
2 entirely separate things there.
Right. Okay. Play first.
Let's do play first.
Okay, so first of all, I want to say congratulations that your child's in an ABA program. That's fantastic. And that he's imitating and copying other people during play is really good. That's one of the most foundational play skills that a child needs to acquire. All typically developing children develop that skill. Kids on the spectrum oftentimes need to be directly taught that skill. Just the ability to see what other kids are doing during play and copy it. That's fantastic.
Put that in your plus
Really,
column.
it's true. It's one of the most foundational skills you can have for play. Now, can he move beyond that, or is it normal that he's stuck on that for a while? Yes. The answer to both of those questions is yes. And what I would do is sit down with your child's ABA supervisor and say, okay, what are we doing to increase the variety of play and increase spontaneity of play and increase initiating play? So all 3 of those are just different facets of a child's overall play repertoire or play ability that also need to be worked on. And what you might find is your supervisor says, yeah, actually we're working on that. Here's the data, and we're getting there, but we're not there yet. Maybe your supervisor hadn't thought of those things yet, and maybe they will now because you bring it up. But absolutely all of those aspects of play are something that can and should be worked on in a good quality ABA program.
Okay, then moving on to how do we know if a child has a cognitive intellectual delay in addition to ASD? I think this is a fear that every single parent, when their child is first diagnosed with autism, we always want to know, is this the case, and how do you know? How do you know?
Right, absolutely. And just only a few years ago, instead of intellectual disability, it was the R word, right? Mentally retarded, right?
In California, it still is.
Yeah. And so, and I think in the back of many people's minds, that's what we're really thinking when someone says to us, your child might have an intellectual disability. You ask yourself, what does that mean? My child's retarded, right?
Right.
Which is, extremely emotionally difficult to even think about. Now, I don't know if this is good news or mixed news, but the truth is, at the age of 4, you have no idea. You honestly don't know. Even if someone is an expert assessor and they did all the right psychological assessments on your child, IQ tests and everything, you name it, they really don't know yet at 4 whether your child has an intellectual disability. And frankly, from the standpoint of treatment, and definitely from the standpoint of ABA treatment, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter at all. He may well have an intellectual disability, we'll see. He may well not have an intellectual disability, we'll see. But the appropriate approach for treatment would not be affected in any way whatsoever, even if we had a crystal ball and we knew the future. The appropriate choice is maximize learning potential through ABA, as many hours a week as possible, as intensive as possible. That's what's going to maximize your child's gains, regardless of whether or not in the future you have an answer to that question.
Okay. Can be so devastating, but put your mind at, we were talking about this yesterday, the road in front of you. Do what you need to do now, and everything that you need to know will become clear as you're on the path.
And frankly, as parents, there's just a whole laundry list of questions that we don't get to have the answer to, period.
Right.
And all we need to do is, or all we can do, is learn how to do the best job as we can as parents day to day, and just put the list of questions aside and know that we will have answers someday in the future.
Okay.
Best we can do.